something different so they can go viral and stand out and be known as this person. Because everybody understands that all it takes is one moment that could put you in a position for you to become a millionaire of some sort. Because as we see TikTok every day, it's a new person on TikTok.
What's going on, everybody? It's Webster Style, the man, the voice, the fragrance. And we're here with someone who I had the pleasure of meeting at Exotica DC, who I just had to get to know a little bit better. And I'm pretty sure based on the views that you guys want to know her a little bit better too. And we're here with none other than the enigmatic Quincy Roee. Quincy, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I always appreciate when anyone just goes to give me a moment at a time. Even we just sitting down and talk, time is like the one precious thing that we have.
Absolutely. You're right about that.
So one of the first things I was curious about, upon learning about you and meeting you and talking to you, how did you get into the adult industry?
So I started off, I guess you can say, being in the lifestyle. For those who don't know what the lifestyle is, it's more so like a community of people that enjoy sexual pleasures, and we all just come together and enjoy light company. My ex-boyfriend introduced me into the lifestyle, I can say maybe 10 years ago,
Hmm.
and I met some amazing people. I met some people that have become long term friends, and they were already recording their own amateur videos. And I was complaining to them about, how life is, the 9 to 5 life, having a regular job, struggling, living paycheck to paycheck. And I was asking them, like, well, what do you think I should do? And they was like, well, we do videos. You might be interested in doing your own little amateur videos. And and I thought about it for a while. It took me a little while to actually like start doing it. But I started thinking about it like, how can I get into this and
Hmm.
make it something different from myself? Because it's like I see a lot of people that record themselves doing amateur videos, and I wanted to do something different. So I looked into the glory hole thing because my friend Kim Swallows, when I first met her, I started going to her parties, and was doing these glory hole events that people can go to, and I was like, this is different, And I realized when I was back there doing my thing, freely
Hmm.
without recording, I realized I was pretty much the only girl with melanin really back there doing my thing. So
Mm.
I said, you know what, I'm gonna take this glory hole thing and I'm gonna start recording my own videos. And I just did it. And as it started to progress, I started to make more and more money to the point where I stopped working my job and I started doing this 100% full time. And that was just the amateur thing. And I was like, if I can do amateur and I can record my own videos, maybe I can touch on a little bit of mainstream as well. Maybe I can start doing mainstream porn instead of just doing
Right.
amateur porn. And things just took off for me there. I think I just like manifested it. It's something that I wanted to do. I strive for it, and boom.
Okay, because I was curious if this had become your full-time occupation, especially with you crossing over to the mainstream. That's interesting. As far as going back to lifestyle, what attracted you about getting into the lifestyle to begin with?
Um, I think I'm just a very curious person.
Hmm.
Um, my ex was telling me stories, showing me pictures, videos, and I just got interested. Like, I want to try this out. I want to go to this place. I'm not sure if it'd be something that I'm, interested in, but I've always been one of those people who's like, you always have to try something once. Like, if you don't like it, you don't like it. You don't have to try it again. But I'm more of like, it's a bucket list type of thing. Like, if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. I can just say that I did it and I experienced it. So when I experienced it, I moved very slow. I was very shy. I really didn't talk much to a lot of people. It was more so like him just bringing me along, and I'm just there
Hmm.
with. And then one day things just changed. Like I came out of my shell. I started to be a lot more freaky, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed, I started to experience things that I never knew that I would enjoy in the
Understood.
lifestyle. And it created this monster that I am today, I guess you could say, after experiencing a lot of things, figuring out what I like, what I don't like, and taking control of that, and moving it in my own way, in my own direction.
Understood. Now, one of the things that I, at least the impression I got meeting you and everyone else at your booth at Exotica, um, it seems to be a real community, and not just community in general, but a supportive community. Is it an accurate assessment?
That is definitely accurate. I've never had so much support. Like these people have, we started out as just people just going to lifestyle events
Hmm.
to actually kind of being a family. We talk on a regular basis. We communicate on a regular basis. We know each other's struggles. We talk to each other about our problems. If we can help each other out, we help each other out. We definitely have a close knit type of thing. And it's very turned kind of family oriented to me. Like Kim and Chris is definitely my family now.
Hmm.
They've been long time, friends, to the point where, they've shown their loyalty to say, hey, I'm here for you. As long as you're here for me, we can make something turn into something on our own. We don't really
Right.
have to reach out to other people because we have the resources. Um, and it's something that we all learned together. I feel like we all didn't really know what the sex industry had to offer or what
Right.
place we were going to have in it. I feel like we just moved along together and, worked together, and it just happened.
So, would you say that has been very vital to your success, that networking, that community?
Absolutely, because I'm not a trusting person.
Okay.
I've tried to work with other people. Chris, his name is also DC Go Hard.
Okay.
He's pretty much my manager. Like he manages me, he helps me, he does my videography, a lot of my photography. He's plugged in with the only photographers that I work with in Baltimore. So they have um a lot of hands in who I became, and towards helping me become who I am. Like when I'm having a bad day or going through something, I know I can call them and they could help me either get me back on my feet or just say something encouraging to be like, you have this. Because I mean, we all have our days and we all need that support.
Right.
And they have been 100% my support, my backbone, my help through everything. And I trust them with, I guess you could say, my baby, because this is my baby. I trust them with my baby. I trust them with my moneymaker. And I
Right.
know that they aren't going to steer me wrong. And it's kind of hard for a lot of people to say they have that in this industry, especially how crazy that it is. It's kind of
Right.
hard to be able to trust other people with your time, your money, managing you, things and so on. So I'm happy to have that family to be able to back me with everything.
Right. That's one of the things that really struck me when I met everyone, at least those that I did meet at the booth. It really came across as a supportive network, and not knowing outside of like the glory hole stuff, and knowing, looking at feeds and when I seeing things are done together, and in that regard, it doesn't surprise me that you have that technical aspects is done together, the business aspect, like that is a network that really powers everybody in that regard. And you're right, especially with some of the uh, individuals in the industry I've talked to. That's not something you really see. And I think, in my opinion, a lot of it's because you started in the lifestyle, and that's how it kind of grew from that. I've heard stories of other, not like anybody I'm interested, but just watching interviews with people and how like their adult careers spawned from just being going to swingers parties or doing multi sexual events with people, and but they never talked about any sort of communion with that regard. That just kind of led them down like, hey, they met somebody and like, hey, you should do this, and goes in that way, and then they're on the cover of a video or something like that. But never have I heard it spoken about where an actual community, well, I say troop, like a comedy troupe in this case, an adult content troupe, sort of spawned out of that where everybody's working with everybody else. And I find that just even my own experience when you are working with like-minded people, everybody, iron sharpens iron. Everybody, works with each other. Everybody pushes everybody, and you tend to get better product from everybody else.
Exactly. And they say that you're only as strong as your weakest person. So we make sure that we try not to have anybody that's weak.
Right.
If it's anybody that wants to come aboard, we give them the proper tools. We let them know what we think they could work on, what we
Hmm.
think, they need to change, if it's makeup or if it's, just being more feminine.
Hmm.
And, it's really all about the ladies with us anyway. We don't have a
Right.
lot of guys in our little
Right.
circle other than DC Gohart, which pretty much runs everything. But it's like we try our best to make sure that all of us are at our best.
Right.
And it's just great because it's like, especially when I had friends before I got to this dynamic where things were a lot different, where, they say that they were there for you, but, behind your back, they telling people things and it's just a lot of drama and you don't really know what's going on because you think that these people are really your friends, but they're not. It's like I've seen a lot of that in the industry and I've been through that. So
Hmm.
it makes me feel really comfortable to know that I have people that are really there for me, really have my back, not just saying it, actually showing it and putting proof, time and energy, not asking me for money in return. Because there's
Right.
some times where times get hard and I can't pay my manager, Chris, but
Hmm.
he's also my friend and he
Right.
understands what I'm going through. So it's like, it's not all about money.
Right.
It's about the connection and the friendships that you have, but they also have struggled us because we don't know anyone. It's like we have our community.
Right.
It's hard to branch out with people that know more because, like I said,
Right.
we all got started together.
Right.
So we only know what our heads put together and push through with. But we know people that are veterans in this
Hmm.
porn stuff, and we want to pick their brains too. We want to talk to them too, and it's like it's kind of hard to get them to talk to us because they're like, well, y'all your own entity,
Right.
do your own thing. We ain't telling y'all nothing because they see us as competitors, but it's like we're not really
Yeah, it's
trying to
not.
compete. We just want to know more that's going to help us get further, and a lot of people gatekeep a lot of information,
Hmm.
so it's hard to kind of get the necessary information without having to pay somebody or, be at the right place at the right time type of situation.
That's interesting that you talk about seeing you as competitors because I think the adult industry is one of those spaces where, like, from the mind of somebody on the internet, like, it's really not a competition because it's people like what they like. And if they don't like, again, say, typical guy who's into adult content, he likes the type of woman that he likes, or he has that fantasy girl that really does it, or he has a certain instance that gets him, or sometimes you go through like, this is really get me excited, it's what I want to watch. Other days is this. It's like it's so in my mind I'm thinking, how is it really seen as competition when the audience is very specific about what they like? Is different. Like, for instance, I interviewed ABJ. I can see both you guys are shorter, about the same complexion, breasts behind. That's okay. Body structure, okay, great. I can see somebody comparing you two, but you guys are totally different on screen in performances, what you do, how you perform, your personality. I think with the nature of what you do, the individual performer is unique. And I think that's what the audience really goes for. And it's weird to me to see or to hear that some people may see you and what you do in your collective as competition. That's fascinating to me.
Yeah, I don't get it either, but I hear it all the time. Especially with me doing this glory hole thing. Um, we haven't really established a content glory hole platform
Hmm.
where we all as a collective post all of our videos on this platform and people buy them.
Hmm.
We haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay.
We allow the women to record what they record and post on their platforms how they see fit. So
Right.
technically, all the women are still independent creators. There's
Right.
no real, when it comes to at least creating the content, no real establishment behind that. The establishment that they have is based off of just lifestyle events and
Right.
parties. So for them to even say that we were competition was a very big eye opener to us, because it's like, we haven't even created that yet.
Right. Right.
We want our women to work with your company so these women can grow more, for their own individual talents.
Right.
But no, they didn't see it that way. They saw it as, you have a glory hole, you have your thing, do your own thing.
Hmm.
We don't want to do anything with you. So it's like,
That's
it's kind of
fascinating.
hard for me sometimes to get like a lot of bookings that I would like to get,
Hmm.
because they see me already attached to some type of organization.
Mm.
So it's like, we don't want to be in competition with who you're already with. And it's like, technically, I'm not with anybody. I am Quincy Rowe. I am my own creator. It's just that they are my friends and I support them in their lifestyle, business that they have. But their lifestyle business still doesn't have anything to do with content, because they don't have a content business. They just have a lifestyle business. So it's like a
The
thing.
more you say that, the more I find it incredibly odd, because in today's age, it's really about, and this is, and I'm talking to others, like it's really about building your own fan base and having that fan base go with you wherever you go. So the fact that anybody would see you working with them as competition, I find absolutely baffling, because I would think, okay, she has her own fan base. Well, if I book her, this fan base, what percentage do I think of this fan base would come over there in addition to the fan base that I have? And okay, I may get 25% of your fan base that come because of you, but even if I get 10% of the fan base that stays, that's 10% of a fan base that I didn't have before you came.
I don't think a lot of people think that way until they give me the opportunity. Like, I feel like the reason why I haven't really done mainstream, I've only
Mhm.
done one mainstream actual film.
Right.
Like, if you want to talk as popular can be, Brazzers, Bang Bros type of situation.
Right.
I've only done Brazzers. Bang Bros has contacted me, but I'm terrible with communication. I'm trying to get better. Oh my
That's what
gosh,
your manager's for.
yes. I'm trying my best to get better with communication. But other than the Habib show and Brazzers, that's really the only real mainstream that I've actually really done. And I would definitely love to do more of that, but it's kind of hard for me because a lot of people say, because of my size, I'm kind of like an in between type of girl.
Right.
So, what's popular and isn't always what's popular, and what just looks good and the talent, it's a struggle between that, and I realize that now.
Hmm.
I've seen a lot of non-talented people making it, and a lot of people that actually have talent
Hmm.
not really making it, and
Right.
not really
It's
just
all
in
about the look.
porn.
Yeah.
I'm saying in all aspects of entertainment.
Yeah. 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 It's all about
um
the look. You're right.
yeah, and I technically don't have the look. I'm different. Like, and it's not only my look, but it's also my look with my personality.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard for people to grasp. A lot of people say it's not marketable. You have to be a real small, slender girl that pretty much have nothing,
Right.
or you have to be one of those girls that has everything.
Right.
So it could be a struggle sometimes just with bookings, because I've heard a lot of people tell me I don't have the look. They don't know where to place me. They don't know where to put me. My hair, my locks is intimidating. It's not a lot of women, black women of color in the
Right.
industry with locks.
Right.
And if they do have locks, they have these overly bubbly, um, very pornesque like type of personality. Um,
Yes, I think of one that comes to mind, and I think she's a great performer. And
yes.
I've seen interviews. I think she's absolutely like an amazing person, great person to talk to. Love that. But the fact that I only think of one says a lot.
And I can think of at least three.
Mm-hmm.
Um, two mainstream, one not mainstream, and I realize that they all have this bubbliness to them
Mm-hmm.
that everyone is so intrigued in. I feel like I've even talked to other mainstream porn stars, and they say that it's something that you have to put on. It's like,
Yeah.
and it's hard for me because I'm just not that girl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I have more of a down to earth, more girl next door
Right.
type of personality, but you're never gonna get that. Oh my, oh my goodness! Like I'm just. It feels weird for me to fake that
Understood.
because it's just not me. So it's like because I don't have that, it's hard for me to get bookings because a lot of guys love that gullible, bubbly, blonde type of
Mm-hmm.
personality, and I am the total opposite. So
Understood.
it's kind of hard for me, but when I do get bookings, I show the reason why I should be getting them every time. I'm never on camera disappointing, um unless it's someone that just outright just don't like me. But for the most part, I put my best foot forward every time I get on screen.
Right.
Anytime I have lines, whatever, I'm trying my best to make sure that I'm doing everything the right way, and it always shows on camera that everyone that worked with me always has nice things to say.
Right.
I've never heard anyone that I worked with say any bad things about anything, and they always want to come back and work with me again. So it's like I try my
Good.
best to always build that rapport because even though I don't have that bubbly personality and I'm not like this and like that, I'm still like that when it's action, when it's camera time, I'm doing exactly what I need to do.
Right.
So I want people to start understanding that everyone isn't going to be the same and to always give people chances because you never know. You might find that gem, that's
Yeah.
just different from everybody else. And it's good to I feel like it's great to have that diversity. It's like, why do
Yes.
you always want to have the same thing? But
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
You touched on something that again I brought up Avery Jane earlier, and I think I brought her up because I'm looking at her and I was going through your Twitter feed. Both you guys have similar body structure. Um, as far as like optics and the industry and whatnot. And I know while she's more mainstream, she definitely talked about difficulties in being cast, not companies not knowing where to put her and how to market her because of her body size and her curviness. Let's just say being a black woman in that regard and having curves like that. So I know that is that is something that is been spoken about, and even just watching other uh, black females in the industry and talking to them personally and looking at Twitter, like that is definitely something that it's surprising as someone who's on the outside looking in, considering where we used to be back in the 80s and 90s, with regards to what a black woman was supposed to look like in porn, or black women only working in quote unquote ebony porn, and now you have so many that are working with so many different types of actors, and that's a lot, I think, in my opinion, because of the direct to consumer model and that blowing up. Companies can't ignore what people are buying, so they have to shift to what people are buying rather than dictating what people buy.
Yes, absolutely. And it's something about the all natural bodies of the women that's
Yes.
becoming a thing for black women. That's what has been a problem. Like they all want us to conform to getting boob jobs and getting these big huge asses, and
Hmm.
I'm just not one of those girls. Like I've already been blessed.
Right, right.
How much more blessed do you want me to be? I got double D's and something round and brown in the back. I mean, it might
Right.
not be the biggest thing, but it's what I have. It's natural. It's not
Exactly.
didn't have to go buy it. And I don't. I realize that fantasy has become more of a thing lately when it comes to porn. A lot of people have gotten into anime and
Hmm.
watching these cartoons that depict these women with these huge boobs and these big old butts, and it's like this is what I want the women that I have sex look like, and it's like This is why this is a cartoon. This is
Right. Exactly.
this is the reason why they made it, because we aren't supposed to look like that. I mean, it's nothing wrong with it being your fantasy, but I realized that it's become a problem that a lot of regular people think that we are supposed to be like these robots, or they don't think of us as human.
Right.
And it kind of makes me upset sometimes.
I, I feel the same way, and that's one of the reasons why I even wanted to start doing conversations like this. I wanted to be able to talk to since I had the opportunity to and the connections, talk to individuals in the industry to, in many ways, humanize the conversation surrounding everything. And one of the things that I've had a great pleasure, and I hope the audience has really seen as well, is that everybody's story is different. Um, Everybody is not doing it for the same reasons, uh, and everybody is a human being. And this one of the things I love about this aspect. I think that, and you've been in a lifestyle, and now you're doing more adult content on video. Everybody nowadays, at least that I've talked to, and I've talked to people who've been in the game for a while, so it's a bit different, but there is a full cognizance of what they're doing and what the impacts are, good and bad, um, with regards to, I won't say their lives, but okay, the world is going to see me naked having sex. I know this. I
Yeah.
understand it. I'm prepared for the consequences. You know what? I don't care. I think that is, I love that awareness. And let me explain why. I love that awareness because I hate the argument of, well, I didn't know what was going to happen. I'm like, look, boo boo, it's 2023. You are not that stupid to not realize that if you put out a picture of your penis or put out a picture of you and your man doing whatever, that it can, that is not going to have repercussions in some way, shape, or form. The internet is forever. So the fact that more and more people getting into the industry understand that and understand again those consequences. And again, I'm not saying, I am not, anybody listen, I'm not trying to say that, oh, being an adult in the adult industry is wrong and is bad and you're never going to find out. I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying with any decision in life, there are repercussions. There's a ripple effect. Some things, some ripple effects are totally different than others, depending on what you go into. And living your life so out loud where it is on camera and will be preserved for posterity is something that most people don't have to deal with. So there's a different subset of people that are able to handle it. And in my opinion, those coming in now have a better understanding of what this means for their lives going forward. And that kind of goes to your point about being robots and this and that. The people who then are watching, in some respects, haven't shifted that view yet.
I can agree with you to a certain extent. I feel like they understand. Yes, I am gonna be naked on camera, and I am gonna be having sex, and people are gonna see me. But they don't grasp and understand anything past that, which is the problem. The
Mm,
problem comes in is when you don't think about what you can and can't do legally. When it comes to
mm,
these sites changing what you can and can't post.
mm-hmm.
A lot of people find themselves with charges pending against them for
Mm,
having public content, um, doing things in places where you technically not supposed to, or
right,
um, little things like I've learned so much as things have grown that I never knew at first.
right.
Um, like I knew that I could possibly make money doing this, but I didn't think about popularity. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't think about people seeing me outside. I didn't think about interactions of me possibly just being at the mall and people knowing who I am and me not knowing who they are.
Right.
they could just walk up to me and just have random conversation with me, knowing who I am, and I don't know them from a can of paint. And I feel like a lot of these things have pushed me to be more of an introvert.
Understood.
Um, because I didn't realize that, okay, I could be a possible somewhat of a celebrity, because it's not in my personality to be out there, or people to know me. Like, people that knew me back then knew me for playing sports. Like,
Hmm.
you knew I played sports, you knew I played for a team, you knew my team, but you didn't know me as a standout individual on her own.
Right.
I wasn't being talked about, as an individual. It's just like, if I did, it was because, I might have scored a couple of points, I might have got MVP of the game, but the most part, it was because of a team. It wasn't because of me by myself on my own. So I feel like a lot of people don't grasp what comes with everything.
Hmm.
Um, from taxes,
Oh yeah.
having to file as a creator
Yeah.
when it comes to that. A lot of people don't think about, like, the whole making sure that you're tested, how often you should be getting
Hmm.
tested. Like, they don't know that until they get into it, and then they like, oh, well, someone gave me this information, and this is how things are supposed to go.
Right.
I have people asking me questions all the time, and I'm like, you didn't know that? But then I had to think to myself, well, somebody had to tell me too at one point. Like, I
Right.
didn't know that at one point as well. So it's like, it's a lot of things that you don't take into consideration when you get into this, and it's a lot of things I didn't take into consideration getting into this, and it creeps me out a little bit, which kind of put me like, oh, well, I'm gonna stay in the house. I don't
Right.
really go out a lot. If I do go out, I post about me being out after I leave.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
I have to move accordingly as a celebrity kind of would move. And it's kind of weird to me because I still see myself as a regular everyday individual. I go to the grocery store just like everybody else, go to the mall just like everybody else. And it's like a balance, it's like a situation where it just feels weird.
Right.
And I didn't think about that beforehand. So
That makes sense. I want to comment on that, just personal experience, and then there's something you said that I really want to ask you about. Uh, Obviously, I'm not famous, and people don't know me like that. But even in Exotica, I had this cat stop and it's like, "Yo, I saw your interviews. I love your stuff. Like, I listened to your stuff when I was at work. I love your cologne videos." And I'm like, that was so strange. Like, it was cool, but then it was like, I'm not outside of my professional life. I am not used to anyone recognizing me at an event. I was like, this is this is really awkward. Like, I didn't know, like, I'm a cordial sort of guy, but I'm like, this is really awkward. Like, I don't get this random dude just knowing who I am. And like, so, I guess you're doing something, you're getting some kind of fame when people start to recognize you. But that I definitely understand with the awkwardness in that. But I wanted to ask you something, because you talked about, people filming when and where they shouldn't. How do I want to phrase this? There, okay, you there's a struggle when it comes to content creation, regardless of what it is, even adult content creation, where you are constantly trying to retain your audience, and you're constantly trying to find new ways to retain your audience. In this case, to get them to buy that clip, or to keep them subscribed to your OnlyFans family, or what have you. So there's a constant struggle there, because once they see your content, more than likely they may watch it well, after they buy it, they bought it, and after they've seen it, they do what they need to do, and then they've seen it. Um, with some, do you think that cycle pushes a lot of creators to that extreme, that doing things in public places, being more edgy with their content to try to keep people retained?
yes, absolutely 100%. I feel like things have changed so much, like, to the point where I feel like, I didn't realize it until, like, I'm already years in, but I realized I should have started off a lot more slower, than I
Hmm.
did. I realized that maybe I should have been giving more teasers and putting things like straight out there in your face,
Hmm.
because times have changed. Like, back then, porn was still like gatekept. You
Hmm.
couldn't just Google it. You couldn't just get on your phone and just pull it up and just see full blown sex tapes for free right in your
Right.
face. Like, you had to dig through your parents' cassette tapes.
Yes.
You had
Find
to
those
find the
magazines under your uncle's
DVD.
mattress. Yep. Hmm.
You had to find, but they had to purchase those.
Yes.
And then when you do go on the sites, you would see the ladies and their sexy little lingerie photos and da 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 da, but you still had to go somewhere and subscribe
Right.
in order to see full blown, straight in your face sex.
Right.
Now, it's just as soon as I open up my Twitter, I can see everything that I need to
Right.
see for free, right in the palm of my hands, no matter where I am. It's there for me to access. And then it got to the point where I feel like we've become desensitized to
Right.
sex.
Yeah.
We are completely desensitized to it to the point where we don't even realize that we're in a grocery store and scrolling through Twitter. Like, I've had those situations happen where I'm in a doctor's office or somewhere and I get up a notification. Next thing I'm looking at titties, ass, and vagina in the doctor's office, like, or some regular just scrolling through because I'm not consciously understanding that I am desensitized to the point where it doesn't even bother me that I'm looking at it.
Right.
So now we're in a situation where, okay, I'm so desensitized to it that everybody's doing the same thing. Sex is regular. I keep seeing the same things. Girls masturbating.
Hmm.
I'm seeing this anal. We done seen y'all stick all types of things up there. We done seen y'all do the sex dildos with the men attached to them. We done
Hmm.
seen you turn the dials and have the thing pump you a million times. Like, we done seen everything.
Right.
So now I want to see something different. I want to see
Right.
something new. And now different and new is not something positive. It's seeing a girl on Twitter masturbate on a holiday next to some homeless people in the park. I've seen the weirdest things
Mm.
now. It doesn't even bother me anymore. It's like, oh, they're in the grocery store with everybody there and they both sharing a cucumber, half naked. Oh, these girls are just gonna run hand in hand in Walmart, ass naked, damn near, and do weird stuff. It's clout. It's a clout chasing type of situation
Right.
that eventually puts you in a point to make money. So everyone wants to go viral now. Going viral is the biggest thing that you can do now. So if you can think of ways to going viral, you know that you can put an extra little bit of money in your pocket possibly when you post the whole video on your OnlyFans. If you
Right.
like, I've seen videos of guys getting head on the side of the road. Like, my partner, he sent me a video like not too long ago of a guy. He's standing up in the middle of the street and the girl is giving him head and it's like holding up traffic. Like, everybody's like, it's like holding up, or they were holding up traffic with their car. I don't know,
Mm.
but it was just, it was just anywhere. Like, people are doing anything anywhere, and as long as it goes viral, as long as it gets them clout, as long as it puts them on the shade room, as long as it gets people attention, they say all attention, no matter if it's good or bad, you know. So it's getting crazier and crazier because everyone wants to do something different so they can go viral and stand out and be known as this person. Because everybody understands that all it takes is one moment that could put you in a position for you to become a millionaire of some sort. Because as we see TikTok every day, it's a new person on TikTok that goes viral, and next thing you know, they got a deal doing this or a deal
Right.
doing that. So everybody's looking for their opportunity, just like they would if it was sports. You know, everybody's trying to figure out the biggest way to make money.
That's interesting. And I'm gonna just give my personal opinion on that. There is a one thing I've noticed in these conversations that I've had, regardless from whom they've been, there is a level of self-respect in what they do. Um, there's a professional, I'm not saying people don't enjoy what they do, they don't understand. Yes, I am giving head on camera. Yes, I am at a glory hole with three other women. Yes, I understand that context. But there's a line.
Yes,
There is a line to what I'm going to cross. Is maybe for money is what I enjoy, but there is a line to what I'm going to do, and there's a professionalism. Maybe that's most what I'm going to. There's a
yes,
professionalism about what They do. I got that from you and our interaction, everybody else I've spoken to. Those sort of instances that you refer to, I'm like, there is that lack of professionalism, in my opinion, is repulsive.
I
And
agree.
and I don't mean like repulsive, like, oh, you nasty, but that would not make me want to see you. That wouldn't make me want to view your content, personally speaking, because I'm like, okay, you let me put it this way. This is my opinion, and I don't mean to offend anybody's opinion. There is a difference between somebody who's just a content creator, excuse me, somebody who gets a camera and just films themselves, and someone who actually creates content, i.e., and then dealt content. Content is about art. Content is about creativity. Even if it is a glory hole, there is an art about it that many who, if they're creating, they're creating. There's a vision to what they're doing. When I talked to Pink Fox, she used to be a wedding photographer. A lot of that comes into how she films, her eye for things. And even in what you guys do and what you do, there's an eye, there's about angles, there's enjoyment, but you understand you're creating something. You're not just putting a camera on the phone and playing with yourself in your car and, ooh, somebody walk by, somebody like that. That's sensationalism. That's not, you aren't creating content. You're just sticking something out there. There's no thought process, is what I'm saying about it. And that's one of the things that I've learned really from these conversations. Those that are really about their business, there's a thought process to the content they're creating. They understand, yes, I am making sexually explicit content, but there's a thought process. There's a way I want to do this. There's a how I want this to be seen, how I want this to be shot. What kind of mood do I want to have in this? Not just sticking a camera and a ring light and, all right, let's have sex, sort of thing. And I appreciate that as a content creator. And while I'm not doing adult content, I'm always thinking about, okay, how does this look? What do I want to ask? I've done in the past, I do stop motion live unboxing. I'll sit there and draw out storyboards. Like, there's a process that's behind the content creation. And when I meet people like you and others, like, I just from the conversation, there's a thought process behind what you're doing, and you're not just slapping a camera on a wall and recording yourself. And I appreciate that.
Mhm. Well, for me, I think of it more as well, as you were talking about, I call them whole morals and principles. Like,
Mhm.
okay, yes, you can do this, but you still have to want people to respect you. Like, I want people to still respect me. I
Right,
still want to be able to get a bag outside of just doing this. I don't
right,
want to be doing porn for the rest of my life. So I want people to understand, like, yeah, this is what she does, but she also have other talents as well. She
right,
also knows how to do this and this. She knows her camera angles. We can bring her in for her expertise in this.
right,
And it could be a lot more outside of porn. So when a person speaks my name, I don't want it to always be about something crazy or something negative. And I realize a lot of people that do this outrageous content, they aren't respected. And I don't
mhm,
want people to be able to just talk to me any kind of way if they come up to me
right,
and just like or just say, like, people know if you approach Quincy, approach correctly,
right,
because I'm not dealing with any disrespect, and people know that up front, which is kind of, it's a good thing for me, but it's also a bad thing for me because a lot of people find me as unapproachable. A lot of people don't even want to come up and even say anything to me because they think I'm probably going to say something crazy off the wall, even though I'm not that type of person. But
mm,
I feel like I might have given that type of persona because I don't want it to ever happen. And it hasn't happened. But I just feel like I don't want people to think that I'm just this gullible, freaked out individual that everybody can get their hands on. I don't want to seem accessible to my fans, where they feel like they can just call me or pick up the phone and say, "Hey, you slut," when you're gonna be
right,
like anything. But I feel like when you do those type of videos, you open up those doors to possibly being
right,
disrespected because they see you being disrespectful to yourself on camera. like, you don't care about yourself, you don't care where you are, you don't care about the people around you, you don't care if there are kids around. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
really have no morals or principles for yourself, so why should I treat you as if you do? You know? And I feel like I've always carried that on my back, even when I was playing sports. I feel like my parents have always instilled that, you know, someone is always watching. Be on
Right.
your best behavior. You never know who's watching. It could be
Right.
somebody that's trying to put some money in your pocket. You know, it could be a bad situation that you're in. You have to figure out how to get yourself out of that situation without showing your ass.
Right.
Because there's other ways of handling situations. And I feel like that just, took me throughout my life. And I feel like I've always instilled that for me to be able to do professional things and for people to want to interview me or do any
Mm-hmm.
kind of work, videos or whatever, what have you. But I do not tolerate disrespect. And I don't want anyone to uh, post or do videos that would put them in position for them to possibly be disrespected as well, but they do it all the time. And it's like, I feel like it also comes with a different generational of mind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 31,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my mindset is a lot different than a lot of girls that are younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
I realize a lot of girls that's younger than me, they don't care. The music that's being played, the sexy rigs, they don't care. They don't care what I think because I'm old. They don't care what anybody else thinks because they're going to do whatever they want to do regardless. So it kind of puts you in a position where it's just like I have to mind my own business. I have to do my own thing and just focus on myself because the first time I try to help someone else out or to correct them or whatever the case might be, it could become a problem for myself,
Right.
which is another reason why I stay within my little community that I have,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want there to be a situation where, you know, things don't go right in a situation where I have to come out of my character for whatever reason.
Right.
Um, so I try my best to just stay in my own lane, do my own thing. Because a lot of people don't listen nowadays. A lot of people don't want advice. They don't care what you have to say. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And that's just what it's going to be. If it's just for clout, it's just for clout. Hey, and I feel like a lot of girls did this because they realized that a lot of content creators, like, since it's become a big thing now, everyone thinks they can do it.
Right.
And
Right.
they watch girls do certain things and they like, you know what, I can do that. I can masturbate in my car and pretend I'm getting caught, or, and especially when everybody realized catering to fetishes is the biggest way to make money. you
Mm-hmm.
know People enjoy you getting caught. That's why when you go on Twitter and you see people getting caught videos, it's one of the biggest retweets out of all the retweets you could
Oh,
find.
I know that.
But yeah, like, fetishes have become the biggest thing in now. So a lot of girls that aren't even in the fetish community have made it a thing because they know that it makes money. Feet, getting caught, squirting content,
Hmm.
scat. A lot of girls they didn't know anything about this until they was on Twitter, and then we're all in spaces, and the girl like, yeah, I'm on Scatbook, yeah, I get paid $10,000, da 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 da, and all the girls like, yeah, girl, for real. She like, yeah, girl, make you a scat page, I can show you how to work it. That's how that, and this is how
Wow.
it's got to the point where no one has morals and principles anymore. Everybody's doing it for the money. We don't care about how you feel about it. We don't care about what you think about me. As long as there's someone paying me
Mm-hmm.
for this, we can throw the morals and the principles out the window. It's like a word of mouth type of situation. Like when I tell people I have OnlyFans or that I do porn, I get people messaging me all the time asking me what can they do, what can they do to get in, how did I get in so they can get in, can I teach them to get in? And it's like we're oversaturated. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm not about to keep, like, it's a new girl that turned 18 every day that
Mm-hmm.
decides gonna make her OnlyFans.
Can Can I tell you that I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, or what have you. Not so much Twitter, but Instagram or TikTok, and I see an attractive young lady doing a TikTok. My first thing is to go to their Instagram to see if there's an OnlyFans page, and then not saying it's demeaning, but I get so disappointed when I see women because I'm like, you're like everybody else is doing it. Like there is like that's what you and I'm talking about like younger women. I was like, really? Like there are a lot of people doing it. Why don't you do something different? It's kind of where I was like, oh, really, man? Like
But this
that's
is
your
the
stick.
thing. What do you consider different? Because you got to think about it. With the day and age that we have now, no one really wants to work. Like, come on, let's really be real. No one wants to work for someone else and clock in and clock out and do that thing. They don't want to do that. No one really wants to go to school and sit in school for forever and get a degree to possibly have a career. You know, everyone is looking for how can I make some money now, make it fast, and make it keep coming in so that I can continue to keep making it. It's not necessarily about everyone's doing hair, everyone's doing nails, everyone doing lashes, everyone
Mhm.
doing makeup, everyone's a content creator, everyone has a TikTok, everyone's an Instagram model. What do you want these women to do? Go back to being doctors and lawyers, and it's just like what are you expecting these women to do different? Because everything is already oversaturated for the women, unless they just going to go back to school and
Well,
do it that way or open up. Because it's like I'm tired of seeing the nail salons open up, I'm tired of seeing the hair wig places open up. Like, every time I turn around, every black woman or every girl I see on TikTok, they're all doing the same thing. They're all makeup influencers,
right,
they're all nail influencers. So it's like everyone's trying to figure out a way to make their own money without having to their money to have to go through someone else. And it's getting to the point where there aren't that many options now.
right. I
You
understand what you're
going to
saying.
sell ass, or you're going to sell a product that a lot of people want, or you're going to sell some cakes and some food. You got to sell something that is at high demand that people are interested in buying, or you're going to be working a 9 to 5. It's just like there aren't really too many options.
I get what you're saying, and partially my comment was based on that oversaturation part. As far as I know, there are many people, women, but not just women, but women specifically in this case I'm talking about, who are OnlyFans. So part of it is there's an oversaturation, and then I see someone else that's on there. So I'm like, man, okay, how much are you really making? How lucrative is this really for you to do this?
Most women, it isn't.
Right,
Most people that have OnlyFans is not making money off there. You know how many women that I've given my referral code to for them to sign up to OnlyFans? And you know, if you give someone your referral code, that means you referred them to the site. That means you get a percentage of what they make because you referred them.
hmm
I didn't make no money yet. A lot of these people just get it and they think that it's going to be fast money. They think it's going to be something like selling drugs off the street, and it's not. You have
right,
to put in work. I wasn't
right,
able to just quit my job because I had someone just taking care of me and I was just not doing anything. I
right,
had to put in work, record content to keep people interested in order to make that money. And it comes to a point where people fall off. Like, it's a lot of girls that I've known that say, you know what, I don't even do content anymore. I don't even have OnlyFans anymore. I deleted my page because this is not for the weak. I don't know
right,
who I don't know who grew 16 legs and said, "Hey, this is easy. You should try it." Because it's really not easy. There are times where I am literally drained and frustrated to the point where I'm like, you know what, I don't even want to be interested or do this anymore. But I think again and say, well, what else am I going to do that's going to make
hmm
the amount of income that I'm making right now? It ain't too many options. So I guess what? I'm going to continue to keep doing this until the wheels fall off of it because there aren't too many other options, especially when it comes into weighing the money aspect. Like,
right,
I don't have a degree for me to say, hey, I got this piece of paper to, boost my pay up so that I can break this money in. I went to college, but I didn't get a chance to finish because I got injured playing basketball. But it's like there aren't too many options, especially when it comes to making as much money as I do currently. So with that being said, you got to keep doing what you're doing or find something else And finding something else nowadays is hard the way the world is. It's crazy hard. It's either you're an entrepreneur or you're working for someone else.
Understood. Yeah, I want to comment on that, just the falling off part.
Yeah.
I totally get that, a part of it. Even with this, like this whole thing started back in 2009 as just a blog, and it's just pretty much on male style, and it evolved in certain directions, still encompassing that, but kind of fell back in 2014. Some things happened. And I came back really in 2018, 19, that's going to be 17, 18. That's when I really got into fragrances. So I really started focused on that. But the YouTube part of it, I think I had some stuff like 10 years ago and ended up deleting it, some random stuff, but I was never, I mean, I had some interviews from Comic Con and a couple of things from a fashion show I went to. It was like 4 or 5 videos at the time, but I didn't go heavy into it. And last year, I think after Exotica DC, I really got started getting heavy from my site because I was already doing the gaming stuff for my boy on his channel. But just the constant grind of being consistent, of, and again, especially if you like, I'm not making money from this. This is my, I always tell people this is my outlet. But to come up with a plan of what kind of content I want to put out. Even still, I was doing my podcast, so I translated that to this as well, and that was something that I was doing sporadically. And then in 2020, I was like, I'm going to do this weekly. I've been doing it weekly for the most part ever since. Getting on a constant grind, getting out content all the time. Like you're, and I don't know how often you post, but I am posting. The plan typically is Monday's podcast. So that comes out all platforms. Wednesday, hopefully an interview. Friday, maybe some style stuff, maybe. And the Sunday is game bites. And in between that, I'm also recording the gaming show for Nerds Rule the World and the wrestling show for Nerds Rule the World. And then any other stuff I'm doing for my man, and maybe some interviews for him. So that's the plan typically. That's recording, that's editing, especially with the game bites. That's like, oh, what game am I going to play? I'm gonna sit here, how I'm gonna play this, and then I gotta record my reaction to it, splice all that together, edit this, and I ain't even worried about camera angles or anything like that, or lighting, or working with a partner or partners. Like it's just me, and I know how the grind is to stay consistent, let alone doing something that is, while pleasurable, still intimate and stressful on a regular basis, filming content to put out maybe 2, 3 times a week. That's taxing on your mind and body. Not even talking about the technical part of things as well. And coordinating with other people, especially if you're working with other people for a scene. That's a lot. And you're right. I think a lot of people who get in don't comprehend the sort of time and investment you got to put in, not just creating content, but then you got to market yourself as well. And that's what I'm going to go to as far as that aspect you talked about, as far as that lack of respect. I think a lot of those individuals don't understand the power of a brand and the brand they're building. You know, I reached out to you, I met you, I can see the Quincy Roee as a brand. It's not just the adult industry; it's a brand, and that's one of the things that even talking with like Carmela Clutch, a couple other people, they understand the aspect of they're building a brand that ultimately will transcend what they're doing now as far as adult content is concerned. I think that many of those individuals we spoke of aren't looking like that, aren't looking forward. I think back in the day, and this whole situation is weird compared to now, but even like Tracy Lords, like she turned that name. Well, first of all, I think based on the story, I think she finessed the system, but she finessed the industry. But she took that name and then had success with it afterwards in mainstream Hollywood. And even dare I say, with her stumbles, Mia Khalifa, like she has taken that name and has done her best to transcend that name outside of the adult industry. Unfortunately for her, she keeps coming back to that, and I think public opinion wise is like she hasn't done a good job of distancing herself from the industry because she always talks about the industry. Again, she can do what she want to do, but if she's building something outside of it, then leave that alone, move forward. Even say, like T.S. Madison, she has built a platform and a brand outside of the industry where she started because she had an understanding of where she wanted to go with that.
Exactly. Exactly. That is definitely a great example. T.S. Madison. Mia, she hasn't really done anything. Like we've seen her in the blogs,
Right,
we've seen her with these popular boyfriends, type of thing. But as far as taking herself away from it hasn't happened, which is the reason why she didn't have a choice to kind of go back.
right,
You really have to set yourself apart, and I feel like that is my biggest thing for me is setting myself apart. That's why when I go to Exotica and I go places where I'm going to be appearing, I take a lot of thought into what I'm going to wear.
hmm,
Because I don't want to look like everyone else. I want to stand out. I don't like. That's why I say when I go to Exotica, usually when I see the girls what they got on at their booths, uh, it doesn't really do it for me. Like you wore body stock and some tennis shoes, maybe some slippers. I don't really see anyone really go all out and really, put forth the effort to really look good, per se, or have a theme to, how they want everything to look. Like, yeah, they
right,
might got makeup done, hair done, but they're not really put together. And I really pride myself in being put together.
right,
Like my theme this year was pinup model. And all 3 days I was given pinup model. My feet hurt 3 days after Exotica was over still. And it's like, hey, I look good. I got a lot of compliments. A lot of people that didn't know me got a chance to know me.
right,
Everyone that, did know me, they loved my outfits and, wanted to take pictures, and I made a lot of money. So it turned out to be very successful because I think about and plan how I want things to go. I don't want to just put something together and just say, oh, I just put it together and I just did it just to do it. If I'm going to
right,
do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to plan it out, outfits down to the earrings. And I feel like that's very important, especially when you're trying to build a brand, when you want people to see you. Like, I definitely want to do more brand ambassadoring. So when
hmm,
people see me in lingerie and stuff like that, I want people to be like, I love that. Where did you get that? And most of the time, I'm like, well, I got it from Shein, or I got it from Pretty Little Things, or some place where everyone gets things.
right,
I want to promote more Black businesses and say, I got this from my girl Brittany, and
right,
this is her Instagram. Promoting Black businesses has always been a big thing for me because I am a Black girl, and I would want to get more business outside of porn, like lingerie, or it could be lotion. Like I know Asim Supreme. He's a Black business, and I support him 100%. He sends me boxes of his soap and his shea butters and all of his nice stuff, and I actually use it, and I actually love it to the point where I've purchased some out of my own pocket from him. And I've gotten a business as well, with people like, oh well, Quincy Rowe skin looks good all the
right,
time, so if her skin look good and she uses this, shoot, I could use it too. So I've been looking for other avenues, to explore my brand. Like I've done the sweet roll with the bakery treat, since all of my friends are telling me you're missing your calling with this baking, and they
mm,
love it. So I've been buying new stuff, trying new recipes, trying to see what I'm good at making so that I can expand that brand, and then I can start maybe open up my own little bakery. I don't
right,
I don't know I don't have a full plan, but I do know I want to continue to make money, and I want to continue to grow as the Quincy Rowe brand, whether it be in porn, whether I'm selling pies and cakes, or whether I'm selling G strings. I just want to be able to be successful. People enjoy me, love what I'm putting out, and I can be comfortable because I don't need to be the richest of the richest, but I definitely want to be comfortable and be able to retire when I get older, just like everyone else, and you know
right.
be able to
That's
sit on my butt in a little rocking chair on a nice little porch.
right, right. I think that's, well, I've always said I just want to be content with my life. I don't need Google gobs of money. I just look, just my bills are paid. I can do what I want to do when I can and call it a day.
Absolutely. Where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Baltimore.
Oh, yeah. I could. We share the same dues and so I was listening. I hear the accent, so I was like, yeah, you got to be from Baltimore like me.
Yeah, it comes across every now and again. What part?
I'm from the west side of Baltimore.
Where?
Well, Southwest. You know where like West Side Shopping Center, kind of like there.
Yes.
Pratt Street. Pratt Street. Yeah, I'm from that.
Yeah, I primarily grew up north in Dukeland.
Oh,
But we
okay.
lived down near West Side Shopping Center, or near Emerson Village area at one point in time. Yeah, so oh yeah, I grew up primarily 2800 block of West North Avenue. That's my stomping ground. So I spent most of my formative
Okay.
years.
My dad grew up over there on Dukeland.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
So yeah, I was like, I knew we shared some little Baltimorean love.
Right. So where did you said you went to college for a bit. Where did you go to school?
So high school, I went to Perry Hall
Okay.
in Baltimore County. College, I went to community college. I went to CCBC. I went to the
Okay.
Dundalk location because that was the only location that had a girls basketball team. I was really into sports.
Hmm.
I played basketball for like since I was like 8, all the way up until college until I got hurt, and then after that I had to figure out different avenues in life. But it was a great experience. I loved it. I still love the game. I still watch it. So probably would never participate in playing a game, but it
So
was
who's
fun
your favorite team? Or do you have one?
Basketball.
Yes.
I don't have a favorite. Well, I would say the Boston Celtics.
Okay.
That has been pretty much my team ever since I was a kid. Yeah, I guess it just never changed. But I am a LeBron fan, and I have my picks and chooses from different teams that I enjoy. But I mean, if I had to choose an overall team, I guess it would be the Celtics.
Okay. Because I ask, especially being from Baltimore, I got a couple years on you, so I remember when the Bullets, before they became the Wizards, still played 4 times a year in the Baltimore Arena, and I think I went once their last season. But even me, I'm 45. I barely remember the Baltimore Bullets at all, outside of those one um, that one time I went, and I never even knew they were from Baltimore. So asked that question because we grew up really without having an NBA team. So it's always interesting asking someone who doesn't have that team and that's a sport they love, what their favorite team is or are. Because I grew up, I think I loved just growing up in the '90s, Jordan, Bird,
Yeah.
Showtime Lakers, well, '80s and '90s. We had riches when it came to basketball and those legends back then. So I can't even say I had a favorite team myself at that time. I still don't. I like LeBron. I think it's amazing that he is still playing at that level to be as old as he is. And I think Jordan was around the same age when he played with the Wizards and was nowhere near as effective. And again, not to compare like who's better,
You
but
gonna
just
start a
the
fight
fact.
in here?
No, 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 no. Jordan's my man always. But the only comparison we have with someone who is that kind of greatness, who played at that age, really is Jordan. And even Jordan wasn't, again, myriad of reasons, but Jordan wasn't as dominant
Yeah.
as LeBron is at the age he is. And it's like, dude, like, what are you eating? It is amazing. Absolutely
I
amazing.
agree. I agree. Well, my football team is always and forever be the Ravens.
Of course.
I'm not going anywhere. I will always be a Ravens fan until they isn't a Ravens team anymore, or I'm in my casket. So
No, I,
I'm a
I
Raven for life.
I tell people I'm not the biggest football fan, but I'm a Ravens fan. And I tell people I think the Colts snuck out of Baltimore when I was 6. So again, I don't have a big history of like the Colts in my DNA and in my family.
Right.
But it was funny. I do you remember the CFL team that we had a couple years, the Stallions? You don't? Oh, this is You probably
I
younger then.
know nothing about a CFL.
Yeah, Canadian Football League. It was a Canadian Football League in Baltimore for about 3-4 years before the Ravens came. They
I never
actually,
knew.
yeah, they won the Grey Cup. They played in Memorial Stadium. I was looking in one of my yearbooks, my old photo albums, and I got a ticket that I went to from a game in 1995.
Oh wow.
So
I was only
Baltimore,
3.
yeah, I was about to say you're a bit younger, so you may not
I,
even
I
remember.
was only 3.
So
Yeah, so I never knew that though.
yeah,
That's a good fact that I probably have to look a little bit more into. No, I never knew about the
yeah,
Canadian football.
it was kind of crazy because when they came in, they called them the Colts because apparently the Ursays never trademarked the Colts name for football. So that was there ended up being a big lawsuit, and then they ended up just to stop the lawsuit. They renamed them the Baltimore Football Club, and then they just named them the Stallions, and they had a eerily similar logo to the Colts.
Like, yeah, we're gonna change the name, but we aren't moving too far
Right,
away.
right. So yeah, I've always loved Baltimore football, and I'm a humongous Orioles fan. That's my lifeblood right there. It reminds me. My boy just texted me. It's
I'm
like,
not really a baseball girl. I mean, I wouldn't. My little brother played baseball when I was younger. My dad actually coached the baseball team, so I was around baseball a lot growing up until I got to the point of me playing basketball.
mhm.
But I just never been a real baseball girl. And I always remember that one time where I was in college and the softball team was practicing in the gym. I don't know who I thought I was. And then I asked the pitcher, yeah, throw me the ball. You know, I could catch it. She almost broke my hand. Okay.
Softballs
So
ain't that
broke my
soft.
hand. Well, first I caught it wrong. I didn't know there was a proper way to catch a baseball because I've never played. Like I always,
Right,
see him catch it. But someone told me after the fact, which she almost broke my hand, that you're supposed to catch it with a mitt. You're never supposed to let the ball actually hit the palm of the
right.
glove. Yeah, when she
Yeah,
passed me that ball
catching
about
the
80
webbing.
miles
Yeah,
an hour, 80 miles an hour, that thing, I caught it. I ain't raised no hoe. I caught the ball, but I could not practice that day. Practice was over with. My hand was on ice.
understood.
There was no practice. And my coach was very upset with me. Very,
I
very
bet.
upset.
I bet.
So yeah, baseball isn't my sport. And I can't hit a ball.
Mm,
Can't hit a ball to save my life. If you
so,
threw a ball at me, it'd be a hope and a prayer.
so baseball has been my lifeblood. The O's. I think it was something about not having a football team, and also my dad lived on the east side, and literally we could walk to Memorial Stadium. So I have so many memories of just going with him, and I love my dad. And one of the things he always did, like he just like random kids from the neighborhood, just like, hey, can you go to the game with us? And we come, like it'd be me and him. We end up like 3 other kids going with us.
Oh, that's
And
so
then my mom and her job, they always had a post office night. So it was her and my sister and I, and then my best friend and I, we bonded over baseball cards in 3rd grade. So we always went to the games, which he just texted me about a game, Nationals versus O's in May next year. It's like, yo, you trying to go? So it's like the Orioles are like family for me. And my great grandfather, he listened to the O's game every night, every single night. Like baseball season, that little radio of his, John Miller calling the game, that was every single night. That was a soundtrack to my life.
that is dope. That's just reminded me. I have to call my brother to see if I can get some tickets to this Ravens Miami game on New Year's Eve.
Ooh,
That's gonna be a good one.
yes.
I'm
Yes, it
excited.
is.
I hope and pray that my team win, but I am also a Miami fan. So it's kind of hard for me. I do like Miami. I do like the Dolphins.
It's not that
So
hard.
I'm gonna be a little upset if we lose because we're only lost to my second favorite team. But if we win, I'm gonna be ecstatic, and I'm not even gonna care about the Dolphins losing.
Understood. Understood.
But yeah, I
Well,
would love to go to that game. It should be a good one. It should
yes,
be a good
they've had a good season, and I'm looking forward to big things for them
both
when it comes
teams.
to the playoffs.
I don't know now. I'm not looking forward to the playoffs. The playoffs is never good for the Ravens. I,
Look, it got to change one year. This look,
I'm
they
praying.
signed quarterback to that deal. They brought in Odell Beckham. Zay Flowers is doing this thing. Like
Yeah,
they
they've
are
been doing
they're
that
gelling
thing.
together at the right time. So and honestly, like as the AFC, I haven't been keeping up, but I don't really hear outside of like the Chiefs, and the Chiefs just lost again this week. It's it doesn't seem like they're
It's the Dolphins. It's the Dolphins. The Ravens. Um, I think the Cowboys is at the top now since everybody
yeah, but
lost.
they're NFC, so we ain't got to worry about them until the Super Bowl.
But
I'm just
it's
like,
really only us. It's really only us and the Dolphins, though. It's
yeah,
really a
that's what I'm
tie.
thinking. Like
I
nobody,
think it's actually tied, or maybe we got one game in front of them. But
mhm,
we're like 1-2.
right?
Miami and was 1-2.
Yeah, but unlike previous years, nobody seems unbeatable in the AFC this year. As
True.
far as outside of like the Ravens are beatable, but their competition, like any given Sunday, it's not like last year, year before. I said, "Oh no, Chiefs gonna smoke them." No, no,
No,
they're
no. I've been betting. I've been betting, and I've been disappointed in some of the things that's been happening. I'm not gonna
mm-mm,
lie, because it's like what I expect never really happens. Because, like you said, any given Sunday, and my
right.
my partner tells me that all the time. Like, you over here betting, and it could be any given Sunday. Like, it could be his game, it could be another wide
Hmm.
receiver game. Like, you never know. And I'd be like, man, this is hard. But look, it's not gonna stop me from betting. I'm gonna win some. I'm gonna win some. I've been off by like I might look. I'll have a 15 leg parlay, and I'll lose two. And then those two that I lose, it'll be like he didn't get 1 yard, or I bet for him to pass 200 yards and he passed 197. I'll be ready to
Mm,
throw my phone across the room like, you could have just got 4 more yards or one
right.
more yard. Like, but hey, that's just the way the things goes when you sports bet. You can't win them all,
Got you.
man.
Understood. Well, Quincy, I want to thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Make sure you tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me. I have all my links, and I tell people all the time, if it's not linked, it's not me. So it's allmylinks.com/Quincy dash ROEE. Again, allmylinks.com/Quincy QUINCY dash, not underscore, dash ROEE.
And you should have seen that flash across the screen. If not, it'll be in the link below. Thank you very much, Quincy. Appreciate it. Webster Style, you know where to find me. Check me out. The man, the voice of fragrance. We out.
I gotta get some of your fragrances too. Bye, guys.